last time out, Buddy finished in the points once again. Now it was time for him to use that momentum as Formula One heads stateside. So it's time for the United States Grand Prix, which, considering his background, is kind of seen as a second home Grand Prix for him. This time last year, Renault was struggling with engine durability and were having to take penalties at this point of the year. However, he's got engines to complete the season without the penalties this season. So hopefully those engines will last to the end of the season penalty free. Buddy showed good pace, but in qualifying just missed out on Q3 due to unfortunately timed rain which prevented him from doing a final improvement. So it is race day here at the Circuit of the Americas, playing host to round 18 of 21. With only 4 races to go, Buddy has a lot to prove. He hasn't got a drive for next year yet. I mean, it's not certain that he's going to be staying at Renault, but he's got a lot to prove to show that he's worthy of a seat for next year. So it's about to be what's effectively his second home race here at the Circuit of the Americas, obviously with his, as mentioned earlier, with his background in American motorsport. But it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, he has been promoted up the grid through a lot of grid penalties, as you'd expect at this point of the season. It's not been as much as was seen last year when it comes to penalties, but there is a lot of penalties, which has promoted Buddy into the top 10 with a free choice of tyres on new tyres. So looking at the grid, it's a Mercedes front row with Hamilton and Bottas looking out the front row for Mercedes. Carlos Sainz will be lining up in third as a result of all the penalties ahead of Magnussen, Perez. Ricciardo has a grid penalty ahead of Ocon and Alonso. And Buddy has been promoted to 9th, whilst Raikkonen has a grid penalty. Vettel was more caught out by the weather than we were and couldn't make it past Q1, I believe. And as you can see, there are a lot of penalties rounding out the grid, including Max Verstappen, who will be starting at the back of the grid. So, it was time for the United States Grand Prix. So, as you can see, he's about to line up on the grid. The first corner, a lot can happen there, obviously with the wide entry that you have at that corner. He stops in his box.
The rest of the grid is forming up. Be patient and watch for the lights.
So, it was time. We have the lights in the Circuit of the Americas. Lights out, away we go. Buddy gets an okay launch, but obviously the Ferraris behind get alongside, obviously being one of the big 3 teams, but Buddy is able to hold it around the outside of Kimi Raikkonen. Vettel has managed to get both of us, but Buddy still is in 10th. He's not lost too many positions. He's only lost 1, and that was to a Ferrari. So not a bad start for Buddy, but it's crucial now that he makes up ground. As you can see, though, he's got Raikkonen right behind him, and he could send it up the inside any minute. But Buddy does brake quite late, just before the straight, so he is still in 10th. So now moving on to lap 4.
Guys, I can't make up any ground. Vettel's like a rocket on the straight, and he's acting as a buffer between me and Alonso. Need to do something here.
Yep, Buddy was really struggling because obviously there was Vettel ahead who was really fast and was kind of acting as a buffer between him and Alonso, and he couldn't do anything about Vettel. But as you can see, they're battling, heading up towards the braking zone at the end of the DRS, and they're side by side. Vettel's on the inside of Alonso, and he is going to squeeze Alonso out, and that is going to give Buddy the incentive he needs to make that move stick. And Buddy has taken the position.
Great job, Buddy. Keep this going.
As you can see looking at the replay, he just saw an opportunity and took it. Now moving on to lap 13, and his tyres are really second hand now, and as you can see, he comes into the pits for his first of 2 stops. He hits his box and changes to the super soft tyre. He exits behind Raikkonen, but just behind Van Dorn, who's yet to stop. But Buddy is a little bit unsure.
Are you sure it's the right decision going to super soft? Because surely everyone's on ultra soft around us.
Obviously, Buddy wants an answer, but the thinking behind it is he's going to go long and have the pace at the end. As you can see, he's behind Van Dorn, who has yet to pit. Really, it is crucial that he makes this move on the McLaren. As you can see, he's quite close and is certainly within range. And with the use of DRS, getting past was a breeze. And he has taken P12. But now Ocon is right behind him and having just pitted. And as you can see, he's on much better tyres and Buddy can't really do anything to keep that position. As you can see, on lap 40 he comes in. He did actually do a reasonable stint on the super softs, making them last as long as they should. So he's come into the pits for a set of the ultra soft, but he has been undercut by a lot of cars.
Come on, how have we been jumped by all these cars? Okay, we may have made a bit of a mistake, but there's nothing we can do about it now. All you can do is get your head down and try to make up those positions.
But Buddy would get lucky.
Okay, safety car. Stroll is out. We are on pressure tyres. Don't need to pit. We can make up some ground here.
So, once again we have a safety car. There have been a lot of safety cars this season. We've rarely had a race without one. And this one is going to really help Buddy. As you can see on the restart, he's right behind Carlos Sainz. And he's made that position. I mean, maybe Sainz was asked to back off a little bit there, because obviously Buddy is on the better tyres. But Buddy has managed to get past Carlos Sainz, and now he's got the 2 Haas cars of Grosjean and Magnussen, and also Alonso is there as well, ahead, who have all managed to undercut him in the pits with his strategy. Now, as you can see, they all brake really early going into that hairpin, and Buddy is able to take advantage, and he has managed to get past Grosjean. So, it's been a very good restart here from Buddy. He's now in P11, but as you can see, Grosjean is going to try and come back around the inside, but Buddy, with the better acceleration, is able to stay ahead. Now, as you can see, he is right behind Perez and Alonso. But Grosjean goes down the inside of all three of them. A really good move from him. And Buddy has lost the position, but they all get quite close. And Buddy is now side by side with Perez. And he has taken that position. And now he has Alonso ahead of him in the McLaren. And considering how close he is, that should be a breeze. Which it is. I mean, there was a little bit of contact. He locked up a bit. But Buddy is on fire in these closing laps. He tried to make up more ground, but unfortunately he couldn't. So he finishes in P8, considering a cock-up with the strategy. Quite a good result for him.
Well done, buddy. Sorry we made it a bit more tricky for you, but you managed it well.
So, despite some mistakes from the team, Buddy has continued his points scoring streak. As you can see, it is Bottas who has won the race for Mercedes, and Carlos having a decent race as well. So it was a double points finish for Renault. Despite a few mistakes, you can see the celebrations are in full force. Buddy doesn't have a long break as Formula One heads to Mexico very shortly. But the big question was, can he keep that point scoring streak on a track he has historically gone well round?